Okay, this has been soaking for a couple hours in diesel. You don't have to use diesel. You could use any degreaser. I just happen to have a little bit of this left. So you can see it's starting to look a little bit better. Now we're going to put it in something else. We're going to put it in some vinegar and some salt. Okay, this is distilled white vinegar, and I'm just going to get it mostly submerged. That's probably good enough. And then about a tablespoon of salt. So I'm going to go grab the salt from the house. This is definitely household stuff, you guys. Whoop, that might be too much. So more than a tablespoon probably, dump that in. Kind of swish it around a little. Sometimes it works faster if you heat it up, but I'm not going to go through that trouble. If we can just dissolve a little bit of that salt that's remaining, should be good to go. Just let it sit for a little while. I used something similar to clean my fuse panel, and I thought it worked well, so that's why I'm trying it here on the ground strap. Okay, all that salt I just dumped in has now been taken up by the liquid. There's no more grains of salt. It's definitely dissolved. And so we'll just let it be. You can see one of the ends has got a lot of solder on it, and the other end has some solder on it. And this is where it bolts to the chassis. This is where it bolts to the transmission. So I'm just going to let it be for a little while. We'll come back and check on it. Okay guys, it's been a little while. This has been in here probably a little too long. I actually forgot about it, but you can see it's much cleaner now. So I'm going to get some of this baking soda in a separate container and try to neutralize this a little bit so it doesn't just corrode right away. Okay, this water here is just a little bit warm, and this is just stuff out of the kitchen. Just a little bit of baking soda. Stir that around. I guess I'll just use this to stir it. You can see it bubbles right away when you put it in. And then from here, I'm just going to put it in the sink with some just regular straight water, a little bit of soap, should be good to go. And just dry it off with a towel. This should stay clean for quite some time. This end here is just going to get some new copper washers or brass washers to really create a good connection. And this should work again for another 50 years. This part's almost 50 years old. This technique is useful for other things too, like wire ends and things that are corroded or just a little bit tarnished. Works great on all things copper. And this is an inexpensive part. I mean, this is anywhere between $10 and $20. But I wanted to save a little bit of money. You know, these kind of things nickel and dime you to death. So if you can fix it for just a couple bucks, that white vinegar, I think the whole gallon was $2. Other stuff I just had laying around in the kitchen, I'd be surprised if you didn't also. And then the degreaser, I had some diesel fluid or diesel fuel. You don't have to use diesel. You can just use any degreaser, or soap and water would probably work too. Most of the cleaning happened in the vinegar. It's just the chemical reaction with the salt and vinegar on the copper. So there you go.